Welcome to Desert Living, where we connect you with everything that makes the Coachella Valley a wonderful place to live. Desert Living starts now. Here's Brian Gallo.
Hello and welcome to Desert Living. We've got a special theme show for you today. We're paying tribute to a popular TV show that's shown right here on NBC Palm Springs every Sunday night at 11:30. Of course, we're talking about Wise Guys Cooking. For the next half hour, we'll talk with the people responsible for this fun and funny program. Starting with the host, Frank DeSalvo, and Dean Martin impressionist, Mr. Paul Elia. Welcome, buddy.
Hey, Brian.
Long time no see.
Good to be here.
Hello.
Good to be here.
Impressionist. Are we going to get a taste of this today?
We might.
You might.
All right. Fair enough. So we're going to rotate a bit. My first question is for you, Frank. So entertaining has been your life. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, I've been entertaining for 54 years.
Okay. So I won't ask your age.
Don't.
All right, you got it.
Started out when I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan's show. I had to play the guitar, and that's been my main thing. I've always led a band with a guitar, lead singer, lead guitar player, and until I came down here to the desert 8 years ago, which we started a one-man show at Frank's place, and now I do Sinatra and the Boys and a variety, during the show. So, but yeah, it's been great. Always had a lot of fun, and I love entertaining, of course.
So 55 years and 55 more to come. That's safe to say, right?
Well, that would be nice.
All right, Paul, so you work a lot as an entertainer. How did you get started?
55 years?
54.
How old are you? Never mind. By the way, I gotta say that if you haven't noticed, there's a pendant on his chest.
Oh.
Chest is right there. That's a beautiful pendant, Frank. Is that Italy?
It's Italy. Yeah, this was custom made for me. And there's a special diamond in Sicily. It's called a Canarli diamond.
Canarli? What the hell is a Canarli diamond?
You can hardly see it.
That's what I thought. See, these are the jokes, folks. I'm sorry, Brian.
I can actually see the diamond from here, but I love the joke. It's looking right at me. Canarli. All right, so tell us a bit about you. We're curious.
Well, my name is Paul Elia, and yes, I do impersonate Dean Martin. I do that, and worked with Frank a few times. We've had a good time.
A lot of fun.
Was with the David Cassidy production of A One Night Stand. The Rat Pack is Back. Did that in Las Vegas and also on the East Coast at the Mohegan Sun.
Okay.
Over there. That was fun. That's an interesting group of folks from Las Vegas doing the Frank and Dean and all of that jazz. That was a scripted show, and I enjoyed doing that. I'm an actor, so I like to do that sort of thing. Recently, I finished a motion picture called I'll Be Around. That's going to debut in September at the, what's the name of that theater there? The Pantages? The
Pantages?
I believe, yeah.
Wow.
It's going to debut
the world famous.
I'm also doing once a month I perform at the Tartan Steakhouse in Redlands. Wonderful.
So you're busy.
One thing that I really enjoy about doing this, show is that the audience listens. They're actually involved, and that's important.
Well, I hope you're listening at home, my friends. I really do. This is amazing. And again, Sunday night, you get to see more of these faces. With that said, you can catch Wise Guys Cooking, as I mentioned, at 11:30 every Sunday right here on NBC Palm Springs. A big thanks to Frank DeSalvo and Paul Elia for appearing on the show today. Now, stay tuned for more Wise Guys Cooking right after the break. Welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our look at the local cooking and comedy show, Wise Guys Cooking, that airs right here on NBC Palm Springs. Our next guest, Rebecca Hinderer, who plays Rebecca Romano on the show, along with multi-talented Frank Monteforte, are here. Welcome, the two of you. Oh, yes, you and you.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Wonderful. Thanks for having us.
Of course, pleasure to meet you.
Great.
All right, so I'm going to start with you. How do you like being Rebecca Romano?
I gotta say it's pretty fun. It was an unexpected treat to get to be a part of something so great. I love cooking. I love Italian men. So
starting with you, apparently.
It's a wonderful,
Wait till after the
wonderful combination for us. It's great. I love it. It's really made my day-to-day life pretty fun. People are asking me questions regarding recipes, and everybody wants to know about all of my co-stars. So it's a treat. I'm really, really lucky.
I'd be curious to know what happens off cam, but we'll talk about that later. All right, buddy, tell us about you. I know there's something about a dress shop in Hollywood.
Really quickly. I went to Hollywood because I thought I was Al Pacino. You get that? Yeah.
I see it.
It didn't happen. Couldn't get enough work. I opened up a clothing store. And I was there for 30 years. I was fortunate enough to do a lot of wardrobe for television stars and so forth and so on. I was really happy. And I always liked showbiz and stuff like that. So
You were still a part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, I'm born on the kitchen table in Chicago.
Like on
That's
a
how
table?
it started. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. That's a visual for you. All right. So tell us a bit about the dynamic and what it's like working with these guys on the show.
Well, it's obviously I was not alive in the 60s. So it's,
Right.
it's a modern day, you know, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra. It's beautiful. These are gentlemen that really put their heart and soul into performing and singing all over town, and they're just keeping that alive, and it's a beautiful thing, and I just follow along. I'm the exclamation mark at the end of the sentence.
We love it. And in a moment, I want to ask you what one of your favorite dishes is to make, but don't answer that now.
Okay.
I'll give you a moment to think about it. Let's get back to you. So, what are some of the characters that you play on Wise Guys Cooking?
Oh, I do the wig man. I do the inventor, which I really love, and they called me Frankie Cherry Nose Monteforte. Supposedly all guys from Chicago. I mean, it's a hoot. We just have a lot of fun. We have tons of stories and about the Italian upbringing, you know, and it's quite, you know, it's wonderful. It's wonderful, and we love it. We love being Italian. I am anyway, you know. So
I've tuned in. It's a fun show. The word "fun" is really just kind of sums it up. All right. So, what is the favorite dish you like to make?
I have to say, if you're going to attempt anything, attempt lasagna. It seems intimidating, but you can't go wrong. More cheese, more sauce. Throw your noodles on.
Okay.
It knocks people's socks off every single time, and it's actually quite easy.
All right, so lasagna is the way to go.
That's the way to go if you're going to be entertaining.
Okay, wonderful. And so, Frank, back to you. How did you wind up on the cast?
Good question. A lot of praying. No, we know all the same kind of people. You know, all the I hang around with Italians, and they get around with me, and so forth and so on, and all a bunch of funny guys, and Mike Colonna had this idea to get a bunch of guys together, and just outrageous, kind of funny, and it's evolved really, really well. And you know, I work with these guys who are wonderful. Everybody's so funny, and it's just a great, great show, and I enjoy doing it.
With a fantastic cast. I'll keep including that as well. Wise Guys Cooking airs right here on NBC Palm Springs every Sunday night at 11:30 p.m. A big thanks to Rebecca Hinderer and for Frank Monteforte for appearing on today's show. Stay with us. More on Wise Guys Cooking after the break.
Good girl.
We're back with a couple more of the Wise Guys of Wise Guys Cooking. Let me introduce to you Tony DiGirlando, who plays the Godfather, and Larry Capilotto, who plays the show's Ed McMahon. I'm already curious. How you doing?
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
I've been practicing those names. I hope I did all right. It's good to see you guys.
Who's Italiano? You're perfect.
Thanye you, sir. All right. I didn't tell you. Actually, I have. I'm Black, French, Italian. That's part of who I am.
There you go. Now you got all it takes is one drop.
I'm not nearly as Italian as you, but all right. Let's get right to the good. So Tony, you've been entertaining since you were a kid. Give us some history about that.
Oh, I did my first paying gig when I was 12 years old.
Oh, whoa.
I sang the national anthem for Laker games. I made movies. I worked all over the Sunset Strip. I worked in Vegas. I worked all over, and right now I'm working at the Palm Desert Resort Country Club on Saturdays, and all over all the other country clubs up and down, you know, the desert here.
Since you were 12 years old, that's pretty remarkable.
It was about a week ago.
I was waiting for that age joke to come in at some point. All right, let's move on. So, Larry, you've got started as far as big bands. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, I started with the Ted Herman Big Band 19 years ago and sang with them for 17 years. Then broke off and started doing my own show at the Indian Wells Resort Hotel on Monday nights. And every Monday night I have a different female guest artist to join me, and it kind of gives the show a different flavor.
And you've been doing this for a while here in the desert.
I've been doing this for about, oh my God, 50 years myself.
Oh,
yes.
wow. Oh, wow. Remarkable. All right, you want to make an age joke?
No.
No.
You don't want to roast
no.
him real quick?
I
All
never,
right.
This is the desert. We don't make AIDS jokes.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Tell us a bit about the character, the Godfather, on the show.
The Godfather is the guy who gives advice to people. Like people write letters to Larry because they don't know how to spell my last name. And he gets the letters and he asks me the questions. Like, give me a question. What about the guy that owes you money, Larry?
Yeah. The Godfather, Joe Robini sent me this letter that said, I loaned this guy some money and I'm having trouble collecting. What should I do, Godfather?
Tie him to your car and see how fast he can run, you know? That kind of stuff. Educational stuff, you know?
Scared of you. Educational?
Good for the kids. Yeah, it's good for the kids.
Educational.
Listen, we're not politically correct, okay?
I see that. And this is what you get when you tune in at 11:30 on Sunday nights. It's all of this, right? All right, so as we move on, tell us a bit about, as far as you performing here in Palm Springs, what is it like?
Well, Palm Springs is an area that's perfect for people in our age area because they love the Sinatra, the Dean Martin, what we call American songbook type music. And of course, Tony does that, I do that, Frank DeSalvo does that, and Paul Elia. I mean, we're all entertainers, and this is our meat. This is what we grew up with ourselves. So therefore, it comes easy to us, and you know, we love what we do.
Yeah.
And you know, until such time as our voices give out. And Tony, I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
With a laugh like that? Yeah, you're in trouble, buddy.
You're dead meat. You'll never make it to the car on the way out, all right? This guy.
We have a full audience in here, by the way. Before we bump to the break, tell me a bit about Ed McMahon and some of the, what is that like? What do we expect from Ed McMahon?
Well, you know, when they did the show, evidently I must have a good talking voice. And so they put me into that slot. I kind of tell everybody they put me in that slot just to have somebody pretty next to Frank, you know. But
this guy loves you. He loves you.
I'm Tony. Frank's over there.
Oh, my bad. Well, he looked at you.
No, it works out well. I do the announcing, and I do for the commercials, the people who are sponsoring the show, and it's a lot of fun. You know, the whole thing is a bunch of zany guys having a wonderful time doing what we all love to do, and that's be crazy.
I love it.
Let's face
I
it,
love
he's
it.
got a great speaking voice. I got a great singing voice.
Oh, stop. You both are beautiful. Poor attempt at my Italian accent. Again, Wise Guys Cooking airs on NBC Palm Springs every Sunday night at 11:30. A big thanks to Tony and Larry for being on the show. Go check them out, and we'll check you out after the break. We'll see you in a moment. We've been talking with the creative guys behind the NBC Palm Springs show, Wise Guys Cooking. We've got two more for you. Our next guests are Michael Dees, who plays The Undertaker on the show, and Tony Pomponio, the Wise Guys band leader. How are you, buddy?
I'm fine, Brian.
Nice to meet you. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you, Brian. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you, always. So we're going to start with you. Let's talk a bit about your role as The Undertaker. There's backstory with this.
Well, I'm not just The Undertaker. I am the president of the Chicago Funeral Parlors Association, and it's been my pleasure to do it for the great many years.
Okay.
Following I'm such a fan of Frank. My old family, fan of Frank, but that's what I do.
Gotcha. This is really what you do. So you wear several hats.
Oh, well, I actually wear two hats. Well, three hats. I wrote and sang the song that they open with, the opening credits, and then I play the psychiatrist that took care of Frank's problem, or at least says he's going to try to take care of Frank's problem.
So that sounds like a big job you got there.
Oh, big. I'm telling you.
I'm just kidding. All right, let's move on down the line. Mr. Pomponio, how did this band leader role come about?
Well, you know what? I play the accordion. And I've been a big follower of all the fellas, all the singers. They're all my good friends, all the Italian guys. And I was just approached one day and asked if I was interested in playing this role in the show. And I said, okay, that's great. So I started reading some scripts. I go, hey, wait a minute. I'm Italian. I got enough good stories to tell. I talked to Mike, our director, and I said, hey, what do you think? He goes, just run with it. So anyway, I got a lot of problems, you know, and I'm telling you. But I love the people, okay? So what I did was I took on this role as this Italian guy off the boat playing my accordion in the subway in Chicago, and my wife came down and slipped and shit the paper, and this guy over here put her away. That's why he teamed me up with this guy. I don't get that one, but okay. Don't die before me, okay? Anyway, so it's been a lot of fun, and I totally enjoy being part of the show. I'm literally new to acting. This is not something I've ever done in the past. I've been told I'm a big fan of guys like Rodney Dangerfield and the old guys at Johnny Carson show. So it was a good fit, and I'm really enjoying my role and my part.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I love watching you, and again, I tune in, and you should as well. So let's move back to you just for a moment. What is this Rat Pack voiceover, Frank Sinatra, HBO stuff you're talking about?
Well, I've been doing since around 1970. I got into did a lot of movie and TV soundtracks. And I did my first one in 1969. And then I've done a bunch of them since. And one of the more recent ones was The Rat Pack, where Ray Liotta played Sinatra. And I sang the Sinatra stuff in the thing. And I've done Strangers in the Night in 3 different movies. Oh, wow. Over the years. And for a while, Strangers in the Night was really hot. Everybody was wanting that. But yeah, I did that and TV stuff. And I've been in the business, I've been in the music business for 60 years. Wow. And it's not so much that I did it. Tony started earlier, but I'm much older than Tony. So.
We won't tell Tony that. All right, so what is it like working on Wise Guys? You love it?
Oh, are you kidding me? I have so much fun. I'll tell you, part of the fun is just being this character. I speak a little broken English, you know, I have a little fun with it. I've got a whole family that's this way. So I like to tell stories that involve me as growing up as a kid, and then I inject some additional humor, things that, you know, I just kind of dream up as I'm going along. It really gives me an opportunity to be creative. And I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I have a great time with the guys. I'll tell you, if we had a camera off set, when we're off, it'd be crazier, let me tell you.
I challenge you to create a blooper reel. More reason to tune in. There's the information for Wise Guys Cooking right there on the screen. It airs every Sunday night at 11:30. A big thanks to Michael Dees and Tony Pomponio for joining us today. We'll be back with more Wise Guys Cooking. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our half-hour salute to Wise Guys Cooking. In the last block, we had Wise Guys behind the show co-producers, Mr. Mike and Rocco Colonna. That's who's here now. But in the last block, we were showing some of the characters, and you are the guys that really kind of made this, right?
Well, we were lucky. We got a bunch of guys that are entertainers out here in Palm Springs and the area, and actors, and it wouldn't have worked unless they were experienced doing what they're doing, and they can ad-lib, and you name it, they can do anything. As a matter of fact, I met a couple of them at a meeting that we have on Thursdays, a luncheon. And it's a bunch of old Italian guys, actors, agents from Hollywood. And we have a great time, and that's how we chose these guys. They were unbelievable.
And you have a background in TV. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, my son hates me to talk about it, but I was a page at NBC back in the day.
This is your son on the left, right?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
And then worked my way in the news department, and then sold real estate for a long time. And when we moved out to Palm Springs, I got on the internet and I said, who is this guy, Frank DeSalvo? I see his face everywhere. Entertainer of the Year and all this other BS. So I decided to get a hold of Frank. I went to a couple of his shows and we kissed, and we loved each other.
Got it.
It was fantastic.
BS is for business stuff,
and
right?
then he introduced, and then he introduced me to these other gentlemen. I use that word loosely.
Yeah. Oh.
And
he's not done.
All hit it off, and I get to write the show. And Frank was telling me that he was at Trader Joe's the other day, and I was walking by one of the guys and said, "You're Frank DeSalvo." And Frank said, "Yeah." And the guy said, "Who writes that crap anyway?"
Oh, all right.
I do.
Yeah, but you have a great sense of humor. Apparently, you're smiling after you said that.
Absolutely.
All right. Rocco, where is this show filmed?
That's a good question.
You weren't supposed to ask that.
Okay, how about you? Where's this show filmed?
It's in our kitchen.
Okay.
We do most of the cooking in our kitchen, and some of the show is filmed just around different parts of the deal. Gotcha. We talked about that question earlier today. Okay. And we weren't going to talk about it.
I'm just the vessel. I'm sorry to put you on blast like that, but I'll try to find a question you can't answer. How do you fit into this? Let's answer that.
Well, Wise Guys, we kind of bounced this idea around a few years back, and then they put together a pilot recently, and I was on a production. I was working out in Alaska on a shoot. I came back into town, and we shot a few episodes, and we just kept going from there.
And here we are. Wonderful. All right, tell us about your sponsors. I know there's important folks.
We got
to give them some love, right?
Oh, absolutely.
In your big
So
bag of tricks.
The Old Italian Deli gave me a bottle of olive oil to give to you. You like olive oil?
I do.
There you go.
Wow, extra virgin. All right.
And then Everson Spice, we got spices.
Okay.
They sponsor our show.
Cool.
And of course, this wonderful golf shop.
Nice.
So
that's not all for me.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're too kind. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you very much, and I appreciate you guys being on the show. There you have it, folks. You can't miss it. We're talking about Wise Guys Cooking. Remember, you can catch all of today's guests on Wise Guys Cooking right here on NBC Palm Springs every Sunday at 11:30. A big thanks to Rocco and the rest of the gang for appearing on today's show, and a big thanks to you. Make sure you check them out. And guess what? That wraps up the edition of Desert Living. Have a great day. We will see you soon.
How's your face? Hey.